Hello everyone, I'm Peter. Welcome to our space for true stories. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. We will select the best comments to send to the original poster op of the real Reddit story. We hope your insights help them overcome their challenges. Thank you for being part of our community. Please sit back and enjoy today's story. My fiancée doesn't want to introduce me or let me talk to her best friend before we get married. So, my fiancée girlfriend, who is 32, doesn't want me, 28, to talk to her best friend before we get married. We've been dating for 2.5 years, and most of those 2.5 years have been very public. Public in the sense that both she and I love posting pictures or clips of us on vacations or spending time together, and we make it very clear on Instagram that we're in a relationship. However, she doesn't have many real-life followers from work or her personal life on her Instagram. She's got around 7 or 8 really good friends she meets often and one cousin. We're both adults and decided to get married in November or December of 2024 when we first started dating. So I thought it would be better to introduce her to my family last month. I got her consent, and we decided to meet my family at a nice restaurant in the city. My family met her, liked her, and they went ahead and set the date for our wedding. But my girlfriend said it was too soon to get married this year, so we finally decided to set the wedding for February 2025, 6 months from now. Normally in my city, you have to book a wedding hall early enough to get a good venue. So I got her agreement, discussed it with my family, and we booked the wedding venue. A few days later, she also went ahead and booked her side of the party. In our culture, it's normal to throw parties from both the bride and groom's sides. So far, I've introduced her to my family and one of my female friends who lives in another town with her boyfriend, and both meetings were well planned. She also met another one of my friends by accident at the mall. However, I've never met her friends that way. Only once or twice when I accidentally ran into some of them while I was driving my girlfriend somewhere and 2 or 3 of her friends hopped in the car and we exchanged a few words while driving. But of course her friends all know we're dating. Now, something strange happened last week that really left me confused. I got a message from one of her friends on Instagram. I'd never spoken to this friend of hers before, except for once a year ago when my girlfriend wasn't talking to me because we had a fight. And I messaged this friend of hers, politely asking her to talk to my girlfriend once because she's a good friend. She said okay, she'd definitely talk to her. I also messaged her friend because I felt like my girlfriend was going through a lot at that time, and maybe needed a friend to talk to because she had a huge financial loan, and was even fighting with me and her family for some reason. Soon after, I got a call from my girlfriend about me texting her friend on Instagram, and she was furious, telling me never to talk to her again. I was surprised, but I respected her wishes since our relationship was rocky back then, and I gave her space to work things out. After a while, I got a message from her friend saying she couldn't help, and then she blocked me on Instagram. I was fine and didn't react, etc. That was last year. Now, this same friend suddenly messaged me last week because she couldn't get in touch with my girlfriend through calls, and was really stressed about what was going on. I politely replied, saying she's okay, probably busy with work, and I'll let her know that she's trying to reach her. I called my girlfriend and told her her friend had called, and she said, "Oh my God, why did she text you? Please block her on Instagram." I found it really weird and childish to block this friend, so I told her I wouldn't do that. My girlfriend then said if I didn't, her friend would. Not long after, I found myself blocked by her friend on Instagram. This time, it really made me angry, and I ended up texting her from her other Insta account, telling her, "Hey, how are you? I didn't like what you just did, and this is really a respectful way to talk to someone." I also wrote, "If your husband had any self-respect, he wouldn't be texting my girlfriend when you two are having issues either." She responded, saying, "Hey, my husband, I and her have been in her life way before you came into her life." I politely explained that I didn't mean to break their friendship, but just wanted a better relationship with them, and felt disrespected being blocked twice when I only wanted to talk to them once or get to know them. She didn't reply to that and informed my girlfriend, and my girlfriend once again lashed out and got furious at me for involving her friend's husband. I thought it was a reasonable way to express myself. I am very serious about her and have introduced her to my family and friends. She doesn't have close family, her parents are deceased, and her cousins live abroad or far away, but her friends are the ones who will be at our wedding from her side. So I expect her to respect me a little more and maybe not have her friends block me, at least on Instagram. She often visits this female friend's house, and sometimes they sleep over and party with her and her husband at their place for birthdays or other reasons. I've never been invited or met any of her friends for an official hangout/meetup. I've told her a few times that maybe I could join her and her friends, as her friend brings her husband and kid to these group meetups sometimes, but she's completely against this. The recent blocking incident really bothers me. My girlfriend says, "My ex-boyfriend used to bother my friends before, and I don't want these things happening again." That might have made sense a year ago, but now we're getting married in 6 months, and she's still hesitating, saying she'll only introduce me to them after we're married. And once she's married, these friends will have to help her with tasks and duties as she has no one else. So I need to talk to them about the upcoming wedding preparations. I haven't spoken to my girlfriend in the past 2 days because of this, and she also says she's unsure about our marriage after I expressed my desire to meet her friends, accusing me of being controlling. I feel like she'll text or call me soon. Am I asking for the right thing by wanting her to introduce me to her friends, or what should I do? TLDR, my fiancée doesn't want me to meet or interact with her friends, not even on social media, after dating for 2.5 years, while I introduced her to my family and friends 2 months ago. She often goes to her best friend's house, where her husband is also present, and hosts similar sleepover or drinking parties with a few other unmarried friends. I find it strange she won't let me interact with her friends, and even had one of them block me last week because they messaged me. I raised this concern with my fiancé, saying I think I should get to know her friends at least once since we're getting married in 6 months, but she's reluctant and says I can only meet them after the wedding. What do you think my next step should be? Am I right? Update. A few days ago, I posted about how my girlfriend asked one of her best friends to block me on Instagram. That blocking incident wasn't long ago, but today I was shocked to learn that my girlfriend's mother, whom she always said was dead, isn't actually dead. So, a few weeks ago, the same girl, her best friend, who's married and has a child, texted me asking for my girlfriend's whereabouts because she couldn't reach her. My girlfriend, upon learning that, immediately asked me to block her. I refused, but then she made her best friend block me, and the rest of the story is in my previous post. Since then, I haven't been able to trust her anymore. My girlfriend has always told me she has no family. She said she was an only child and that both her parents had passed away. She would often go back to her hometown every 3 to 4 months to visit her aunt, who she said was the only relative she had left, but it always seemed a bit off. Every time she'd go there, she'd stay for at least 2 to 3 days. Other things seemed odd, like whenever she got a phone call, the contact name would show as Home Dad, and a woman would be on the other end, whom she always called her aunt. My girlfriend has met my parents, and we're planning to get married in February. My parents have been hesitant about our marriage because they don't like the secrecy, and the fact that my girlfriend had her best friend block me. I thought it was just a generational difference and tried to make them understand that maybe it wasn't a big deal. But my parents still weren't fond of the relationship, and last week, they went to my girlfriend's office and asked one of her coworkers if they knew anything about her family. The coworker didn't know much about her family. I know it wasn't right for my parents to do that, but maybe they could sense something suspicious from an outsider's perspective and just wanted to keep me safe. I tried to make them understand that bringing this into her professional space was wrong. They agreed not to ask there again, but urged me to investigate before moving forward with the marriage. So I tried to reflect on my parents' POV and the entire situation from an outsider's view, and it made me impatient. My girlfriend hasn't allowed me to talk to any of her friends or relatives or even follow them on social media. Her usual reason for not introducing me to her family is that they'll never accept her marriage because caste/community marriages still aren't accepted in some parts of India. But she's always said how open-minded her parents were and how her entire upbringing was modern, and she's often cursed my family for being suspicious and backward, etc. She's also said that if her parents were alive today, they'd definitely attend the wedding. My parents initially liked my girlfriend when they met her and were excited about the marriage. My dad even offered to pay for her side of the wedding since her finances weren't great. But they became suspicious after she had her best friend block me. So all this added up to make me really doubt everything. And today, I decided to visit her hometown just to check. I went there pretending to be looking for someone else, and when I knocked on the door, her mother came out. I knew it was her mother because my girlfriend had shown me pictures of her before. It was like seeing a ghost. She looked like a fit, beautiful woman with a smile on her face, looking just like my girlfriend. My girlfriend and I haven't talked properly since the day my parents went to her office. She called my parents insane for doing that, and angrily said that everyone in my community is sneaky/cunning and crazy and always spying on people, but she never acknowledged that she had told such a huge lie to my family. And while I admitted to her that asking around her office was wrong, she's also wrong for saying such things about my family while acting suspiciously by having her friends and family block me and faking her mother's death. I haven't spoken to my girlfriend about this yet, and I'm unsure how I should handle this situation. This is a massive lie, and I can't see a valid reason for it. Her father, as I confirmed with nearby locals, is actually dead, and her mother is living there with her aunt, who's in a house nearby. I just want to know if there's any reason or judgment that could apply to this situation, because I can't think of any. Her mother looked healthy and fine to me, about 50 to 60 years old. TLDR, my girlfriend had her best friend block me on Instagram, said both her parents were dead, and that only her aunt was alive. However, I found out her mother is actually alive and living in her hometown. This, along with other suspicious behavior, has led to trust issues. Now I don't know how to proceed because my girlfriend refuses to introduce me to her family and has been dishonest about important details.